Hello, I'm Cameron Coffey. Today I'm going to teach you how to use the blues scale and chord tones to create an improvised solo. So, let's start off. The song that we're going to be analyzing today is a song for my father by Horace Silver. I'll let you listen to the chord progressions first right now. Alright, and then that was the A section. And that's what we're going to be analyzing today because the B section gets a little funky and it's just basically the same chords anyway. So, analyzing the A section. Starts off with this is in the key of G minor. So, right, and the first chord is a G minor 7 chord. So what does this mean? Well, a G minor 7 chord uses the root, the flat 3, the 5, and the 7. What does flat 3 mean? So a G major chord, a G major third would be, but it has a flat 3, so it's, right, so it's the flat 3, which is the B flat, then the 5, which is the D, and the 7, which is a F. I'm talking in trumpet key right now, not concert key, so it might be a bit weird for people with anyone with like perfect pitch or blues playing a instrument with actual tuning. Anyway, so start off with the G minor 7. Right? Pretty simple. G minor 7, G, B flat, D, F. So what do you play over G minor 7? Well, to be honest, you can play basically all of the blues scale. The only question note, I would say, or the only like iffy note is that D flat or the C sharp. The trick to getting that C sharp to sound good is to pair it up with the D or C respectively, right? At least on that G minor 7 chord. So, right? I'm going do ba do re dwee dee ba da boo doo ba, right? So let's just play it. Right? So G minor 7's pretty simple chord to analyze. Moving on to the F dominant 7 chord, so F7, right? So what's in an F7? Well, the F gives you the major triad, but since it doesn't have any minor or diminished symbol on it, we just assume that it has a major triad in it. Right, F, A, C, that's the F major triad. And then we have the flat 7, right? The dominant chord. E flat. Right? So, what do you play on F7 chord? Well, it's actually pretty simple. All you play is the chord tones, right? Right, but you still want to use the blues scale. So what do you do there? Well, what's in the blues scale? You have F, you have the C, and that's kind of it, right? So it's kind of limiting, right? So what can you do? You can also use the F major blues scale, right? The F major blues scale would be F, G, A flat, A natural, C, and then D, right? So, and the actual song, it goes, right? So even the actual song uses F major blues. So it switches which blues scale. But for our sake, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna use chord tones, and then we're gonna use the G minor blues scale coming down. So we're gonna go, right? So, or anything of that effect. So you use. Anything of that effect, right? So let's just, what does that sound like in context? Right, so you just kind of build licks based off of the F7 chord tones along with the G blues scale. Moving on. The E flat, right? So we have an E flat 7. So what is in an E flat 7? What did we say before? It's basically the same thing with the F7, but down a whole step. A whole step is 2 half steps or 2 semitones, however you want to word that. Ooh, 1 half whole tone, I guess. Yeah. So E flat. What's in it? E flat 7. That's an E major triad. And then we have what at the top? That's right, we have a flat 7 at the top. So and what's the flat 7 of E flat? That's right, it's D flat. So now we can actually use that D flat, but as before when we had the G minor 7, we had the G minor 7, we kind of wanted to stay away from the D flat because it was kind of a bad tone. But now for the E flat 7, it's a really cool tone, right? So let's just hear what that sounds like. Right? So I kind of like hung on that D flat for that E flat 7 chord, as you heard, and then I moved on to the D7 sus, right? So now this is probably the strangest chord to talk about. D7 sus. It's actually kind of out of place with the rest of the song, kind of. Right? So D7 sus, what is in it? It has a D7, right? So what do we say about the when you have a D? So you have. Actually, we said it was gonna be a major triad, right? So. And then it has the sus. All right, we have the dominant 7, right? What's the dominant 7 of D? Flat 7 of D is C, right? So. But now it's the sus. So what does sus mean? Well, that means it's suspicious, right? When you have a sus friend. No, okay. So a sus is basically you change one of the notes to a note we had before. So before we had E flat, right? So we have, and now we're just keeping that G. We had the E flat G B flat. So now we're keeping that G rather than going to F sharp, right? So rather than we have. And then we have the 7 on top, so. So what does that mean? We have D, G, A, and C. We don't have any thirds except for the A to the C, but I'm not going to count that right now. We don't have the third of the chord. We don't have. We have. So how do we use this in our improvisation? How does it fit into the G blues? Well, one way you can use a lot of chromaticism. Chromaticism, I'm gonna think of more of as an articulation or a like kind of like a fluttery thing, kind of like how I use flutter tonguing. Right, you can kind of use chromaticism like that. Right, or you want to go from right. You don't really think of it as like individual notes that are like, it's like 16 note. Now you're changing it into a different chord each time. It's just, there's kind of passing tones. They're just they're non-chord tones that kind of work, right? As long as you don't hang on to them for too long. So we have D7 sus. We kind of want to outline that. So you have D, G, A, and C, right? So we're gonna go or right, anything that's gonna outline that D7 sus feel, right? Because it has a really unique sound, and we want to bring that out. So now let's hear what it sounds like in context using all things that we've learned before. Last thing I want to note before moving on to the next section, which is me playing the actual A section, is try to avoid anything that's like a half step apart from a chord tone. That's something I didn't really cover in the last section, but it's something that's very important. Playing something as like a D flat on an F major triad is gonna rub a lot, right? So we'll just wait for it. Actually, D flat would up here. Right? It only becomes nice on that 5th chord. That's 5 measures. If you just keep laying on that. Wait, here you go. Right? Not only does it sound super repetitive, it sounds very immature, and it doesn't work. So that happens with a lot of chords, actually, not just that D flat, but it happens with like let's talk about like A on a G major triad. Right? Anytime you can do like a trill, like a half step between 2 notes, try to avoid that stuff. It doesn't really work too well unless you're going for that feeling. But a lot of people think that's like the cool way to do it and cool way to go. When they first start off learning the blues scale, they just like sit on that minor or flat 5. Right? They just sit on that and they think they're like the coolest cat in the world, but it's super immature, and like anyone in a 6th grade band who knows about blues will do that. So, okay, so now we're gonna use all of that information in context. We've gone over all the chords, so now we're just gonna play over the A section of "Song for My Father." If you found this video at all helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, as well as leaving something in the comments, a comment in the comments. I guess you could do anything in the comments. Just do something in the comment section. But yeah, thanks for checking me out. I'm Cameron Coffee. Remember, stay snazzy.